Good evening, YouTube. What do you know? Here we are, back again for another video. I'm here today to put to rest all the bullshit stereotypes around what it means to be a man. I've had this video on my mind for a while now, but what really inspired me to pull the trigger on it was receiving my first ever hate comments. Yeah, you guys heard that right. The first ever haters have tuned into our frequency and they're trying to fuck up our vibe. But we know better, man. We've been around this block plenty of times. I'm an old dog now, and matter of fact, I know how it feels to be on both sides. At different times in my life, I've been the hater and the guy being hated on. But before we get too involved, there's a couple things I want to do before we get started. First, I want to shout out all 47 of my subscribers, man. For real. Thank you for the support, and I hope you stick around for a while. And secondly, let me put my shades on so them haters can't see me, but them bitches still looking for me. Like many men, life started changing for me when I started growing peach fuzz on my lip. I knew from that moment that I was a man, or so I thought. Let me tell you, bro, I learned from a very young age that being a hater can be very socially rewarding. But only with other haters. You see what I'm saying? See, teenage me had tendencies to talk shit about people behind their backs. You know, some shit talk, some smart ass comments about people I never took the time to know, or maybe I would join others who were doing it, you know, rather than pushing back like I should have been. These days, I understand that that's not manly at all. You know, that's the easy thing to do. It's weak. Like, where does that get you? What does it do for you? You know, it goes back to what I was talking about in my other video about playing the social game. Real men are out here lifting each other up. They give each other compliments and they speak highly of people behind their backs. You got to understand that hate, it doesn't come from above. You know what I'm saying? You want to be that guy that when you walk out of the room, people go, yo, that's a good dude, man. You know, who is that? I know some people, even personally, who would push back on this idea of empowering each other, right? Maybe it's woke. Maybe it's gay. Maybe it's gay. You know, I don't give a shit what you call it. I'm gonna keep doing it, dog, because it makes me feel good. And I know it makes the other party feel good, and it helps build companionship, which a lot of people lack in their lives. And in my opinion, it's probably one of the reasons that a lot of men, and especially the men from the older generations, are unhappy. As I was growing up, I started realizing that what goes around comes around. You know, people won't think of you that way when you talk shit about Joey to Ray, and you talk shit about Ray to Joey. See what I'm saying? People feel that energy, and at one point I was a fool to believe otherwise. What if, okay, what if instead we gas each other up? Gassed up, shawty, you know? Your actions compound and they lead to good results, just like in the stock market, just like in the workplace, you know, in relationships, and in many areas across life. But that goes for both the good and the bad. You know, you make a lot of bad choices and they compound too, and soon enough it becomes evident that the hole you dug yourself is getting a little too deep to climb out of. You make good choices, and you know where I'm going with this, hopefully. But don't get being a hype man confused with being a yes man. See, that's not what a friend is. We're not yes men, okay? If your boy's out of line or he's heading down a dark road, you got to get out and start directing traffic, okay? You got to throw the high vis on. I'm putting up detour signs, right? Let's reroute. We got to hold each other accountable, because when nobody's honest, shit gets soft. And likewise, real men own up to their mistakes, okay? We aren't out here, you know, don't get it twisted. We're not out here apologizing for anything and everything, no. shit that's out of our control, or ain't our fault. But when we do slip up and when we say things we shouldn't, we make it right. Okay, not every L is a loss. Some are lessons, and it's important to be able to know which is which. And on a different note, as men, we don't reach out to our women only when we need or want something. Okay, we're out here building solid foundational relationships. You let your people know what they mean to you. We treat girls with kindness and treat them with respect. That'll take you places, I promise. And I don't care what they say, man. Nice guys don't finish last. I don't care what Braden or Caden says. Okay, don't be a fucking weirdo. Okay, just be nice. And kind of more broadly, here's the big one, boys. And this is the Moab. Okay, it's the inverse. How you treat people who can't do anything for you says everything, right? Janitors, customer service, and service workers, fast food employees is a big one. Old people, strangers. It doesn't matter. Titles don't matter. If your kindness is conditional, then it's not real. And I spend a lot of time around folk who treat those people very differently from those who they need something from. And it's sad to see, man. It really is. It makes me disappointed, and that's an easy way for me to lose respect for you. Like my mama told me when I was a boy, you treat others how you want to be treated, and you never know where a good relationship could take you later on down the road. But it's a different story. If someone's trying to walk all over you, it's different. And if that's the case, then something's got to be done. You know what I'm saying? As long as you mind your own business and you stay in your lane, as they say, it'll be beneficial to you in the short term and the long term. Now, let's start putting the phone down when someone's talking to you, right? I've been around motherfuckers who you ask them how they're doing, and they give you their life story, whether you ask for it or not, whether you care, whatever. And when they're done and they ask you, after they've been rambling for 5 minutes, you got about 3 seconds before they're distracted or they're tuned out. Don't be like that, okay? Be attentive, be present. Ask people how they're doing and actually listen to the answer. Learn something about somebody. Real men aren't quick to judge, okay? They don't, we're not scrolling past something and catch half a headline and then suddenly think we know the whole story, and we start posting on Facebook about just start stirring the pot. That's weak and lazy. We see this all the time. Like I told my brother in the comments on my other video, man, we live in a day and age where people are satisfied with the headline. They got their opinion 2 seconds after hearing one side, and it's weird to say, but I think it takes a lot of effort to read beyond it, and at least that's how it seems. That's why we're in the minority. If any of you are sports fans, and you're probably familiar with like parody accounts like Ballsack Sports and NBA Centel, and there's times where even a high-profile individual is fooled by one of these accounts because nobody does their due diligence anymore. My point is, don't be satisfied with surface level, okay? Ask questions, be curious, and dig deeper, because the loudest voices in the room usually know the least. And believe me, I was one loud motherfucker. Anyways, that about does it for me, boys. Did I miss anything? Does anyone disagree with anything I said? If so, let's chop it up down below. Or if you think I hit the nail on the head, then drop a like and subscribe to support the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.